Let's start with this first slide, if you don't mind. When trust dies, mistrust flourishes. It's a pretty heady statement. But I'll let you know that in the decades that have preceded today, what we've seen in the United States is that trust has been eroded. And every time you see something on TV, a national event, it seems like is happening to us is we're being pulled and pulled from one tragedy to the next. And I think for our country, that's not really in our best interest. As I look at the United States, I think that the sacred fabric of our nation and of a city are the people. And I always imagine neighborhoods that are safe. I imagine neighborhoods that are thriving economically, and also those where people are proud to work. And this is the America that I think we all love. It's definitely the America that I love. Again, my name is Toni Brinker Pickens, and on February 16th of this year, I started Operation Blue Shield. This came after watching some of the events and being in New York City twice, and twice hearing people march down the street saying things like, hands up, don't shoot, and what do you want? Dead cops, when do you want them? Right now. But that is why I'm here today, to talk to you about a way that I think we can change this negative narrative to a positive one. Would you mind running the PSA for me?
In recent months, some have lost faith and trust in those who protect us. Frustration has blurred our vision, but we've faced challenges before. Operation Blue Shield will facilitate the kinds of positive dialogue between communities and law enforcement that lead to unified solutions.
I'm all in.
I'm all in.
We're all in.
Join us.
Let's do it together.
Stand united with us at OperationBlueShield.com. This time, it's for all of us.
The last sentence of that is really important. It says, this time it's for all of us, because we're all in this together. Whether you like it or not, we're stuck with each other. So collaboration is the key to finding a way out of the negative narrative that we see so frequently on television and through print. As Americans, if you look back in our history, we have faced a number of challenges, we've united, and we've always come out on top. And today is no different. It requires leadership, and it requires working together. We have a great leader in Dallas. We have a number of them, including my husband. But I'd like for you to watch a news medium, Channel 8, WFAA. Just take a look at our chief of police and how he is trying to approach some of the problems that we are faced with today.
Skyscrapers in downtown Dallas are wrapped in blue and yellow for Operation Blue Shield tonight, a campaign that supports police officers for what they do. And underneath it all is the issue of race. Channel 8's Shelley Slater sat down for a candid conversation with Dallas's mayor and police chief, who say little symbols of hope can make a difference.
Blue and yellow, the colors of a city hoping to start a movement. Operation Blue Shield is about thanking police officers, providing for them, but most of all encouraging people to understand one another.
Everyone's uncomfortable talking about race.
Dallas Mayor Mike Rawlings and Police Chief David Brown say these public symbols of support prove people are ready for real conversations.
And maybe I have some opportunities to say some things frankly that maybe a white police chief would have more controversy in saying, but I'm asking the community of colors to get involved and help us.
Chief Brown's first beat, his own neighborhood. He remembers making the choice to serve, not sit back.
What was your defining moment?
I think really going back, it goes back to like the 80s when the crack cocaine epidemic hit Dallas. You're either going to be part of the problem or you're going to be part of the solution.
Operation Blue Shield is all about the solution. Organizers are raising money to pay for body cameras, bulletproof vests, even create community lunches to build trust. But the challenge must include you.
Have dinners with somebody that maybe they don't look like, or go to a school that's not in your neighborhood and ask the tough questions and listen.
Both the chief and mayor admit they have had officers make poor choices, but they say it's not representative of the entire force.
It's the same criticism you get from communities of color, is that you're profiling me, right? You're treating me differently, and you're painting us all with a broad brush. And it's the same sentiment that officers have, is that a few officers make mistakes or do things that are controversial, and you paint the entire profession with a broad brush.
Camera, I'm all in. I'm all in.
So now public service announcements are in the works to help encourage a positive tone when it comes to our officers.
I want to make sure that civil rights are protected, but I've got the backs of our police officers.
And these blue and yellow ribbons do just that.
Encouragement. And that's such a small word, but that's a big thank you to Dallas officers.
I'm all in.
I'm all in. I'm all in.
Shelley Slater, Channel 8 News.
On a previous slide, I had showed two photographs, one on the left and one on the right. And the one on the left was a neighborhood, large homes, but I'm afraid these homes had broken windows. The streets had grass in the street. There are no street lights. There are, in many cases, no front doors. There's no running water in some cases as well, but I can assure you there are people living in those homes. The photograph that was on the right looks like the street that maybe I grew up in, and I love to run out and play in the street. So what happens between a neighborhood that's impoverished to one that is pretty much where we all want to live? And many times when I give speeches, I'll ask people to close their eyes and envision the neighborhood. If you had all the money in the world, where would you want to be? And in 100% of the cases, no one has chosen the photograph that was on the left with the houses with no doors and no windows. So we have to change the negative narrative, and Operation Blue Shield is a perfect way to do that. We are about solutions. We are about unity. And we feel the message transcends some of the things that you see today. If you'll take a look at what I've seen on TV over the last couple of months, both on the upper and on the lower medium here, you'll find that whether you take the upper view, which is cops are bad, or on the lower end, policemen are our friends and matter as well, you combine those two, you're going to find that there's an enormous erosion of trust. But you're also going to find, if you dig deeper into this, that both sides are right and both sides are wrong. But if we don't sit down and talk about this in positive narratives, where people are not going to be walking in and absolutely splitting themselves the moment that they do that, we can move forward. That's what we at Operation Blue Shield are all about, and other organizations like ours. Let's talk about unity. And the unity for a city of opportunity for everyone is really and truly got 3 building blocks. It happens to be the building blocks for economic development, which I think is part of the issue that we have today. In the first building block, and it happens to be the first and foremost, is a safe neighborhood. Well, what does that mean? Well, if you live in that neighborhood and you're scared all the time, you have a tendency, after a period, your dreams go out the window and you become angry. And in most cases, you will get angry at many of the people who have, quite frankly, they might live 3 blocks away from you, but they've gone to work that day and they have just so happened to have put on a blue uniform of a policeman. But you living in that neighborhood, you become scared, your dreams are gone, you're scared for your children. So sometimes we will lash out at those that want to protect us. Do they deserve it? Sometimes they do. Is it impossible for us to correct this? No, we've got to. So let's talk again, safe neighborhoods, safe streets. I once saw a young woman at Habitat who gave up her home loan to buy a house in a neighborhood after she had spent 120 hours of community service. She had built her own home. And in the end, she walked away from her house because she did not see enough law enforcement in that area. Now that broke my heart. But let's just say that the citizens in that neighborhood sit down and talk, and they reach a mission of trust. And from there, they start working together. I think you'd be surprised what will happen. Pretty soon, you're going to find they get involved. You'll find that the law enforcement community visits the schools. They try to tutor students. They play basketball with them. And this is all important when you're building a community. So you have a safe neighborhood. What comes next? Then we have home ownership. If you live in that neighborhood, you feel safe, you become part of it. You strive real hard at work. You apply for a loan. You're able to get a house. This is wonderful for your children. The net of that is you become, in most cases, a voter. You participate, and then you can change the city government if you don't like it by casting your vote. You also add revenue to the city because you become a taxpayer. You become a homeowners association member. And what happens is you work together the way neighborhoods should work. Where does that take you? It takes you to economic development, which is jobs, which is what most everybody wants back in the safer neighborhood part of this equation. Jobs are the key things that people feel will bring them from poverty up to a level where they will be happy with their lives. But you have to understand the equation, and it's like a mathematical equation. Safer neighborhoods lead to to home ownership, which leads to economic growth. This is not an easy task, obviously, and it requires leadership. In Dallas, we have our mayor, our chief of police. You have individuals like me or others, Gary Griffith, and we have people, the gentleman at the end happens to be the president of the police union. These are individuals who work with citizens on a very regular basis. We at Operation Blue Shield have two missions. One, as I've mentioned, is to promote and support open dialogue between citizens, community-centric organizations like ours, Habitat, other organizations, homeowners, apartment managers, get everyone in the room and let's do this on a regular basis. City prosecutors in Dallas have asked for $50 a month. That's all they need to go into their council district for 12 months, bringing free food, and I can tell you people show up for free food all the time. The first meeting, they come in, they sit on the left, they sit on the right, they don't like each other. Second meeting, oh, I saw you last time. Third meeting, they all find out that maybe the issues are not so much what they hear on TV. The issues are really that they want a safe environment. They want to be heard, and that promotes the dialogue. We also encourage universities and children to get involved. We are also supporting and trying to raise money for police. You cannot send our neighbors who are police, these people that want to protect us, into bad neighborhoods without the proper equipment. I many times tell people if you were going to have gallbladder surgery tomorrow, you would not call your surgeon at midnight and say, don't worry about bringing your scalpel, just do the best you can. I mean, it's a crazy thing to do, but we need to provide funds for body cameras for these policemen. We need also for storage of the information. They need protective gear. We need to fund the Police Athletic League. These are individuals who go after their work to work with children. So my goal here today is to tell you, to give you a little bit of information about the real issue. The real issue on TV is remarkably negative. I think you need to look below that and understand the economic train. Safe neighborhoods lead to home ownership, leads to economic development, which means jobs, and that's great for everyone. Please get involved with Operation Blue Shield or get involved with like-minded organizations. It is real important that you stand up, you get involved, and you speak out with us and help us do what's right for this country. Thank you.